Hello, my name is Arlene Scott. I'm the Elementary English Language Arts Consultant for the Lester B. Pearson School Board. Today I'm going to present the Progression of Learning. The Progression of Learning is a supplement to the Quebec Education Program. It complements each of the subject-specific programs and provides further information on the essential knowledge students need to acquire and are expected to use in each year of elementary school. This presentation will introduce the Progression of Learning document, show you how to access it, how it relates to the QEP, and show you how to use it for planning in your classroom. It may be viewed individually or by teams as a means of staff development. The first thing I'll show you is how to access the Progression of Learning. From the internet, type in www.mels.gouv.qc.ca/progression/anglais/index.asp. This brings you to the introductory page for English Language Arts. On the right side, you will find the icon for printing the ELA section of the progression in PDF format. On the left side, you will see links to 3 different sections of ELA. I will explain these in further detail later. You will also notice that the progression is available for all subjects, accessible from this page. The progression is presented in the form of tables that organize the knowledge to be acquired in the same manner as the subject-specific programs. Each type of essential knowledge provided is correlated to 1 or more years of elementary school during which it is formally taught. A uniform legend is used for all subjects in order to specify the pattern for each aspect of learning identified. The legend employs 3 symbols. An arrow indicates that teaching and learning are ongoing throughout the year. The teacher must plan for the students to begin the learning during the school year and continue or complete it the following year with help and intervention from the teacher if needed. A star indicates that the majority of students will complete this learning by the end of the year. A shaded box indicates that the knowledge that is already acquired in previous years will be applied during the school year. How does the Progression of Learning relate to the QEP? It clarifies the program content, or in other words, the essential knowledge. Notice here one of the key features in the writing competency is to follow a process when writing. In the progression, the writing process is indicated. It is divided into 5 components of pre-writing, drafting, revision, editing, and publishing. The details of each section are indicated and need to be addressed at different stages of student learning. In essence, the progression clarifies what is to be taught and when. The QEP lists the content to be taught, and the progression helps you know when it should be taught. In most subjects, the Progression of Learning is divided by competency. In language arts, however, it is divided into 3 sections that cover all 4 competencies. The first is conventions of written and media language. These are the building blocks on which language is constructed. Students learn to use and appreciate these building blocks by engaging in situations where spoken, written, and media texts are featured. The second section is language learning processes. The processes detailed in the Progression of Learning document are response process, writing process, and the production process. Through the language learning processes, students learn how language conventions influence the way in which we communicate. These components help to develop critical and fluent speakers, listeners, readers, writers, and producers. The essential knowledge here involves knowing the context in which a text is written or produced, recognizing the audience to whom it is directed, and interpreting the meaning or message it conveys. The final section is text types, structures, and features. Here, students learn about and examine the structures and features that characterize the different required text types. For example, information-based texts, narrative and literacy texts, and self-expressive texts. They also learn about the social functions of different texts. Writing a letter to the editor is written in a different way than writing a friendly letter, a journal entry, or an advertisement. I've given you a lot of information, so let's have a look at what the Progression of Learning is and is not. It is a complement to the QEP. It is not a new program. The program content in the QEP still plays a key role whether or not it reappears in the Progression of Learning. Additions to the Progression of Learning could always be made. It is support for planning, teaching, and learning. It is not to be used as a checklist. It is a clarification of the knowledge students are expected to acquire. It is not a redefinition of the competencies. It is an overview of the program content from one year to the next. It is not an alternative to the scales of competency. Now that we've explored the document, let's see what the practical side looks like in the classroom in terms of ELA. For this portion of the video, you'll need a copy of the Progression of Learning. I'm going to use the book I Want an Iguana, written by Karen Laufman-Orloff and illustrated by David Catro. It's a story about a little boy who tries to persuade his mother to allow him to get an iguana for a pet. The story is told through a series of letters. In case some of you are unfamiliar with this story, I'll take the liberty to read it. Dear Mom, I know you don't think I should have Mikey Gulligan's baby iguana when he moves, but here's why I should. If I don't take it, he goes to Stinky and Stinky's dog Lurch will eat it. You don't want that to happen, do you? Signed, your sensitive son, Alex. Dear Alex, I'm glad you're so compassionate, but I doubt that Stinky's mother will let Lurch get into the iguana's cage. Nice try though. Love, Mom. Dear Mom, did you know that iguanas are really quiet and they're cute too? I think they're much cuter than hamsters. Love, your adorable son, Alex. Dear Alex, tarantulas are quiet too, but I wouldn't want one as a pet. By the way, that iguana of Mikey's is uglier than Godzilla. Just thought I'd mention it. Love, Mom. Dear Mom, you would never even have to see the iguana. I'll keep his cage in my room on the dresser next to my soccer trophies. Plus, he's so small, I'll bet you'll never even know he's there. Love and a zillion and one kisses, Alex. Dear Alex, iguanas can grow to be over 6 feet long. You won't have enough space in your whole room, much less on your dresser, with or without your trophies. Love, Mom. Dear Mom, it takes 15 years for an iguana to get that big. Mikey told me. I'll be married by then and probably be living in my own house. Love, your smart and mature kid, Alex. Dear Alex, how are you going to get a girl to marry you when you own a 6-foot-long reptile? Love, your concerned mother. Dear Mom, forget the girl. I need a new friend now. This iguana can be the brother I've always wanted. Love, your lonely child, Alex. Dear Alex, you have a brother. Love, Mom. Dear Mom, I know I have a brother, but he's just a baby. What fun is that? If I had an iguana, I could teach it tricks and things. Ethan doesn't do tricks. He just burps and poops. Love, grossed out Alex. Dear Alex, how do I know you're ready for a pet? Remember what happened when you took home the class fish? Love, Mom. Dear Mom, if I knew the fish was going to jump into the spaghetti sauce, I never would have taken the cover off the jar. Love, your son who has learned his lesson. P.S. Iguanas don't like spaghetti. Dear Alex, let's say I let you have the iguana on a trial basis. What exactly would you do to take care of it? Love, Mom. Dear Mom, I would feed him every day. He eats lettuce. And I would make sure he had enough water. And I would clean his cage when it got messy. Love, responsible Alex. P.S. What's a trial basis? Dear Alex, a trial basis means Dad and I see how well you take care of him for a week or two before we decide if you can have him forever. Remember, Stinky and Lurch are waiting. Love, Mom. P.S. If you clean his cage as well as you clean your room, you're in trouble. Dear Mom, I really try to clean my room and the iguana's cage. Also, listen to this. I'll pay for the lettuce with my allowance. I mean, how much can one baby iguana eat anyways? Love, Alex, the financial wizard. Are you sure you want to do this, Alex? Yes, Mom, I want an iguana, please. Dear Alex, look on your dresser. Love, Mom. Yes! Thank you! I've just read a book aloud, as many of you do on a regular basis in class. This is a perfect way to model good reading and to instill a love of reading with your students. It's a great prompt for writing and a nice way to get students to respond to text. On your own or with a group, look at page 6 of the Progression of Learning document, Response Process. Consider how you incorporate these knowledges in your teaching. Pause the video and resume play when you are ready. Now look at the top of page 7. Come up with a list of activities that would allow your students to respond to the text. Again, pause and resume play when you are ready. For the next activity, look at pages 7-8, 10-11, and 17 and 18 of the Progression of Learning document. Alone or with your group, list the types of activities your students could do that would allow them to demonstrate their knowledge that different text types are used for different purposes depending on their social function. Pause and resume play when you are ready. What did you come up with? The following activities are all samples of things you could do. They meet the criteria in the QEP and correspond to the progression with regards to response and writing information-based texts. Draw a picture either predicting what will happen next or at the end of the story. Reader's theater, with the same story or change the ending. Write a letter to someone, trying to persuade them to, for example, the principal to ask for extra recess time. Create their own I Want a Book. Write a letter from the iguana's perspective about being Alex's pet. Research iguanas. Have students write a journal as if they were Alex or his mom. In summary, the Progression of Learning is a tool for teaching and learning across the subject areas. Its purpose is to serve as a planning tool and to help teachers determine strategies and goals. It can be used for vertical and horizontal planning and is especially useful for cycle team planning. In ELA, it shows the connection between essential knowledge about language and text and the processes that use this knowledge. For example, response process, writing process, and production process. If you follow the progression, you are following the QEP. In some circumstances, you may need to refer to the QEP for further explanations. The Progression of Learning is a tool for teaching and learning across the subject areas. Its purpose is to serve as a planning tool and help teachers determine strategies and goals. It can be used for vertical and horizontal planning and is especially useful for cycle team planning. In ELA, it shows the connection between essential knowledge about language and text and the processes that use this knowledge. For example, the response process, writing process, and production process. If you follow the progression, you are following the QEP. In some circumstances, you may need to refer to the QEP for further explanations.